Only on Christ 17 TV, right back upside Joe head with another one. Today we got episode 3. Baseball players I grew up watching when I was a kid. Now, I always used to watch MLB all year long from beginning to the end. And during the summertime, I would be in California at my grandma's house, and I used to watch the Braves play a lot of games on TBS. Like I watched Giant game, A's games, and TBS because they played more Brave, more at more Atlanta games than they played Oakland A's games and San Francisco. The Braves games would be on every day, every single day, the whole series. So I would be coming inside about 4 o'clock because it'd be hot as hell during the summertime, and I'd sit back and watch the Braves game. And one of my favorite pitchers to ever watch was Greg Maddux. I mean, this kid was electric, aka the Mad Dog, aka the Professor. He had a few nicknames. So this guy was a World Series champ in 1995, beat the Cleveland Indians. The Indians. For you guys who just coming along now, they used to be called the Cleveland Indians and not the Cleveland Guardians. I think this new name stinks, to be honest. Well, this guy, Greg Maddux, they had Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, Steve freaking Avery. They had some pitchers on that team, and man, were they lights out. But Greg Maddux, my man, had 355 wins, Hall of Famer, 4 Cy Youngs. Now, these days now, they won't let your guy go the whole 9 innings. Well, let me tell you something about Greg Maddux. This guy had 109 complete games. Yes, I said it. 109 times he started the game and finished the damn game. These days, you'll be lucky to see 3 or 4 throughout a whole year from all the teams, okay? He also had 35 shutouts. That is crazy. He played 23 years. He played 11 years with the Braves, 10 years with the Cubbies, and he had 2 years each with the Dodgers and the Padres. But let me tell you a stat that is crazier than all the shutouts, complete games, the wins, the Cy Youngs. This guy had he had exactly 18 gold gloves. 23 years played, and only 5 years of those years he did not win a gold glove. The best fielding pitcher of all time. He's got more gold gloves than any player in the history of baseball. And it was just, he was just, he would throw the ball and it would have so much movement on the ball. You would think you are about to get hit by the ball, and the ball goes like this: strike, strike. And I mean, I used to love watching these guys play. It was an honor to get to see him play. And just growing up, and and every day you get to watch a game on TBS was absolutely fire. Between him, John Smoltz, Tom fucking Glavine, I mean, they won like my goodness. Every year they would be the like NL East. They would win it like every year for like years and years and years and years. There's only one person in baseball who had Greg Maddux' number, but this guy had everybody's damn number, and this was Tony Gwynn. He had 103 at bats with a 429 average. Now, you heard that right. 429 average. He almost batted 500 versus one of the greatest pitchers of all time. And the craziest stat here is out those 103 at bats, Tony Gwynn never struck out. That's the only player Greg ever had any trouble with. Everybody else, he owned them. He owned him, and the one thing I'm really, really, really shocked is that the Braves during that span, when they had that squad, that they only won the World Series one time. That's the thing that got me, is they only won it one time. And with that team, you would have thought they would have put a few up there, a few banners, but they only got one. But hey, there was a lot of good teams in those 90s. There was a lot of good teams. So, I mean, they had to go up against my Yankees. It didn't turn out that good. But at the same time, the manager was one of the best to ever do it, Mr. Bobby Cox. And the pitchers were just insane. Greg Maddux, 4 Cy Youngs, Hall of Famer, won 355 games, 18 Gold Gloves. I mean, the guy's got hardware. 18 Gold Gloves is insane for a pitcher. For any player that plays any position is insane. And back then, they didn't have any DH, and he was good with the bat. You talking about knowing how to lay down a damn bunt? Greg Maddux is going to get his man over to second or third to make sure they can get that extra run for him, because he's going out and he's going to shut it down 1, 2, 3. That's what Greg Maddux was, and he was one of the best pitchers I ever watched growing up. And I'm going to say this, those days, summer days when it was 98, 97, and I'm inside, cold air, cold water, watching the Atlanta Braves, were good days when I was growing up. I was 16, 17, 18. I used to love that, man. I used to have so much fun just watching those Brave games as a youngster. I mean, I used to watch TBS since the 90s and watch those games versus the Giants, versus the Phillies, versus the Cubs, versus everybody. He owned everybody. And there was so many years I just was like, damn, this guy is too damn good. And actually, after years and years of putting up wins and wins and wins and Cy Youngs and Gold Gloves, he finally, when it was all said and done, after 23 years, he became a Hall of Famer. And man, first ballot all day, and it was a pleasure to watch Greg Maddux pitch for the Atlanta Braves. And I was lucky that way back then, TBS showed all the games. Now, the Braves aren't on that no more, which sucks. But growing up, as me loving MLB, it was a pleasure to get to see them pitch all the time. And Greg Maddux is definitely up there in my top 5 pitchers of all time that I got to watch. So with that being said, man, hit the like, hit the subscribe. It won't cost you a dime. And this is my new Growing Up Baseball Players I Watched episode 3. And we're going to keep on coming. 4, 5, 6 to 100. You already know. So with that being said, everybody, if you got a chance to see Greg Maddux pitch, and you were lucky enough to see that guy pitch, drop a comment down below and tell me what is your favorite or something you remember about Greg Maddux, a.k.a. Mad Dog, a.k.a. The Professor, a.k.a. 350 wins, 35 shutouts and 109 complete games. The guy was an absolute beast and a monster. And with that being said, Christ 17 TV and Baseball Players I Grew Up, episode 3. We'll catch you on the flip side, player.